I'm back. um, so I have some thoughts. I just I can't come to a conclusion for myself about Josh. Dad Challenge podcast. And I hate being on the fence about it, but it's like one thing happens, he says one or two things, and I'm like, okay, I'm down, I get it. And then he says one or two things the other way or that don't seem right to me, and I'm like, is this right? Is it going too far? Like, what is happening? And I've never had this much of a difficult time kind of making up my mind on how I feel about a creator. Normally it's pretty straightforward. Either you're a shit person or I can understand you pretty much. Like, cause okay, I'm sorry. It's just like I don't know what to do. I don't know what to think about this, and it's actually bothering me, and I don't know why. But for the most part, if I like a creator, or even if I don't like watch them a whole lot, I can 9 times out of 10 say, hey, there's some things this person says that I don't agree with, but I still like them, still watch their content. Or if I don't watch their content, hey, I don't agree with everything they say or do, but they're not a bad person, bad creator, whatever. With Josh, it's like there's two really extreme ways to look at it. And I think that might be because people are either covering him as this wonderfully nice person who is just fighting for children and is so helpful to others on YouTube, or he's this horrible person doing all these horrible things and treating other people like shit. And I'm in the middle and I'm like, okay, I'm seeing some of this and I'm seeing some of this. And then I watch just his stuff. That's what I've been trying to do. I did watch BX Beast Boy's most recent video, which at this point, because this video probably won't go up until later, can't remember what it's called, but it's one where he shared footage of a live stream that he did with another creator, and they kind of debated on the topic. And I still, at the end of the debate, didn't feel, I don't know. So Josh's content now, I'm going to explain what he seems to be trying to do, but then I'm going to give you the reasons why I still feel confused. So Josh has another channel now, and he's using one channel to be snarky and I guess make the same Micah videos that he's been making and all of that. And I mentioned that before, and I don't have a problem with that. It's like, okay, I get that there are people that want to see it. And if there are people that want to see it and you want to do it, I'm never going to tell any creator, like, don't do it unless if it's, like, horrible, But I get it. Like, that's fine. And so he goes on to his other channel, and he's like, here's where I want to do the serious stuff. And that's fine. I get that. I get what he was saying about, like, because at first I'm just going to be honest, he didn't seem like he was taking criticism well at all. And he comes on this other channel and he's like, I want to do the analytics. I want to seriously cover other things and try not to be as snarky or, as much of an asshole, I guess. And I'm nothing against him acting like an asshole. Like I said, some people want to see that. I get that. So he basically says, like, I thought about it and I don't want to exclude anyone. The more people I can have listening to my message, the better. So if I can portray my message this way here, like if I can put it out in a calmer, more just laid out the facts type of way, then more people may be willing to listen to me. And on my other channel, I'll still do the shit that brought you here. When he said that, I was like, okay, that makes sense. I'm fine with that. That's, cool, fair game. Excuse me. I'm trying not to. But he also makes a statement that he wants to make it clear that just because you're not with him or you don't like what he's doing doesn't mean that you don't support the cause, okay? I will say he had said before, because he's like, I've never said that, and I'm like, but you did though. You did. You said that. I talked about it in my other video, he had said, and I gave him credit before he has said, just because you're not with me doesn't mean you're against the movement. And then he turned around and said, basically, if you're not with me, you're against the movement. And now he's back to the other. So he did say that. That did happen. So I was kind of like, okay, well, I'm glad he's clearing it up and, he's standing where he's standing now. That I can get behind. I can't get behind anyone saying if you're not with my movement, then if you're not with me, you're not with my movement. So those few things that he said, I was like, okay, I feel like he finally took the criticism, and he said, like, I had to listen to people I trusted. Fair enough. I can see where, like, other people that you don't know or don't know you, or maybe y'all don't necessarily get along, those people making videos about you may not open you up to listening to criticism, whereas talking to people you trust can. So there's nothing wrong with that. Here's where I get to some of the things that I don't want to say like I took issue with, but I guess you could say that. They were a little off-putting to me, and just... Okay. So, he talks about being the face of the movement, and then he's like, but other people did it before. He's like, this, I wasn't the first person to do it. And I was like, okay, cool. And he's like, and if y'all want the credit, y'all can take the credit. I don't care about the credit. And he spent time talking about it. And I'm just like, this is just my opinion, just my feelings. I'm sorry. But it's like, do you really not care about it? Because it kind of feels like you care about it. Do you care about it? I'm sorry. It just came off as like, I'll give the credit to whoever. I don't even care. But I don't know. It felt like one of those things where people are like, I don't want it, but I want it. And I could be wrong. I could be wrong all about any of this. I could be wrong that he is this nice guy. I could be wrong that he's not fully the nicest guy in the world. It's not about him being nice. That's just an argument that gets thrown out on his side. Like, he's so nice. But then you see things, and I'm like, in my mind, in my opinion, I see things that aren't... Like, he doesn't always have the best intentions. And I don't want to think that that's the truth. But there's some things that come off that way, like making such a big deal out of, don't give me credit. Like, but you want the credit. And he wants to make these documentary style videos all of a sudden. And it's like, okay, cool. That's cool. And then he goes on to talk about his following. He's always talking about his following and his subscribers and how huge his platform is. I personally feel like that's a turnoff from any channel. Like, here's the thing. We know how big you are. We know how big you are. And I get him saying, like, a couple times here and there, like, that it's important to have a large voice. He always says, I got all these subscribers and all this and that, and but I need to build my voice so I can stand up for our movement. And it's just, you know what it is? It's the holier than thou complex that turns me off of him. It's like my voice needs to be heard so that I can get our message out. And I'm going to go through with this movement, and I'm not going to stop. And there's something that BX said when talking about, which I'm going to get to the whole adpocalypse thing. BX was like, so you're saying that none of the other movements matter as much as yours? And there's some ways to look at that, but it kind of does feel like that. And don't get me wrong, like if you've watched any video from me, I'm sure you can tell I care very much for kids. Like, I don't like to see anything happen to kids. And I didn't know much about, or never really put a lot of thought into what these family vloggers really are doing until I found Josh. So I give him credit for that. And I am against it. I do think there should be rules and regulations in place, just like children actors have. And, do I think they should be completely banned from the internet? Or as far as like, banned from monetization. I'm a little like iffy about that as well, because everything has certain circumstances. And to blanket statement everything and say that none of this should be okay, I just don't know. I get take away the monetization of the thing. I understand. Because if they can't make money, then they're less likely to try to exploit their children. And I 100% agree with taking children off of fucking TikTok and Instagram and all. They don't need to be up there. They don't need to be up there. But that's a whole. And then, let's face it, I was what, like 14, 15, maybe even younger when I had a MySpace, and, and like my niece and my daughter have used TikTok, so it's not all bad. I don't know. You get into a lot of, like, gray areas and other things, and saying that overall they should just be taken off the internet, it feels extreme. And I get where he's coming from, I do, but I think to say that your way is the only way, this is what needs to happen, this is what I'm gonna do, this is how it's gonna go down, like, that seems a little to me. It's like, this is a conversation to be had, understood. Can we all as adults agree that children should not be exploited? Yes we can. But your way isn't the only way. And another point that was brought up by BX, and I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I'm going to say it now. He doesn't cover black creators. And I don't know if that's a fear of, like, being called racist for coming after a black family. Maybe. It is easy for that to happen these days, and I understand that. A lot of things can be misinterpreted. And I think if Josh went after a black family the way he came after the Stoffers, it would look bad, because the way he handles it is not. It's one thing to get online and make criticism in a constructive way, but attack and attack and attack, that would look horrible. But also, you can't just say Micah's here and we're just going to ignore the rest of them because I'm not the same skin color as him. And BX made that point. He was like, look, I'm covering the 50 other families, but they're black. It's a lot. It's just a lot. And this whole adpocalypse. So, Josh's way. Excuse me. But Josh's way goes after their sponsorships. Anytime you see a sponsor on a family vlogger's channel, go after them. Tell them you don't want this. Use your wallet to stop these sponsors, and eventually they won't run ads on any videos with children. And again, I get taking away the monetization to make it to where they don't have a reason to exploit their kids. Excuse me. At the same time, there are real ramifications for another adpocalypse. How will this affect the whole platform? And people are saying, well, he's just going after people with kids in their videos. You don't know what the effects really will be. You're talking about a large, large portion of the YouTubes, okay, and affecting them, but you don't know what else that's going to affect. And I'm not saying that it shouldn't happen. I'm not at all saying that it shouldn't happen. I'm saying before saying that this is your one and only true mission and that you're pushing your followers and anyone listening to do, this should be a conversation between many, many people. And it doesn't seem like Josh is open to a conversation about how things should be done. It's just, this is my mission. This is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to stop doing it. And that kind of goes back to the whole other channel. Like I said, I don't have a problem with it. I understand there are people that want to see it. He wants to do it. It should happen. I'm fine with that. But it's the fact that he was like, I've listened to your criticism. Here's how I'm going to handle it. But from now on, I'm not listening to any more criticism. And I'm actually not going to stop what I'm doing. I'm going to do it over here. Or I'm going to do it over there. But I'm not going to stop. And it's just the arrogance of the thing. It bothers me. It really does. And here's the thing. I want to support Josh. I want to. I thought when this whole thing started, and I really started to take a look at Josh, the only criticism I had ever given was, excuse me, yeah, it's a lot of stoffer videos. I didn't really want to watch them. That was it. Never looked any further into who Josh was as a person, what he was doing, if it was good or bad, or any of that. And all these videos made about him did bring it up. And his reaction to it was not what I expected whatsoever. And like I said, I feel like since then there's the extreme of Josh is a good person, don't come for him, don't say anything bad about him, or that he's this horrible person, and it's just not. You can't say one or the other. Like, I feel like we're somewhere in the middle. And I've said before, I felt like his intentions were good and that he was doing it for the right reasons. But I do feel like there is an arrogance about him that he has the answers, he's gonna do this and he's not gonna stop. And I hate to say it, it does have like this weird, he has to be the leader mentality. Because he's like, at some point, okay, he shouts out a bunch of people that defended him. And it's like, okay, you can look at that as supporting smaller creators because they supported you, you're shouting them out. Cool. Or you could kind of look at it as, here's all the people that supported me because I'm right, and good on these people, go support them. If you don't support me, fuck off. And the thing is that a lot of people, when this started, weren't on these two extreme sides. Some people were just in the middle. Like my video. I was in the middle. I gave what I thought to be criticism or my view of things, but I still supported him. But I don't think he would look at my video and see that. I think he would look at it and be like, well, she said something about me that I didn't like. Oh, I'm not, she didn't support me. And that's not the case. You can support someone and like them and not agree with everything they say. And the fact that he doesn't seem to accept that. I mean, it seems like he's trying by catering the channels. But then again, it's also, and I don't know if I should say this either, but it's also kind of like, not that he sees that you can agree with what he's saying and you may not like the delivery. Because I don't think that he really gets that. It kind of feels like, hey, I'll do this for you. Like, I'll cut out the snarkiness for you over here so that you will come subscribe. And then I'll do the other stuff over here and they will stay subscribed. And then I'll have all these subscribers. Because it's all about building Josh's voice for the cause. That is so off-putting to me. I'm sorry. It just is. And I hope I'm wrong. I would love for him to just be this wonderful guy. Because I've seen things about Josh where I'm like, okay, I really like that. But then I've seen him get extreme at times. Where, okay, There was a time he was on a live on 10 to Life's channel, and Michael Long was up there, and lawyers were up there, and some things were exposed about that situation. And Josh got upset. And Josh was like, what can we do? Can we call law enforcement now? Can I get everybody to do that? And they were like, no, that would look bad on us. But he jumps to that so quick, and a part of me looks at it like, wow, at least he's willing to do something. But then the other part of me is like, he jumps to extremes without thinking or having a conversation. It's Josh's way is right. Josh's way is the way. I don't know. And BX also brought up, and I wasn't sure if I was going to bring this up, but I do feel like it has an important point. And I don't know if it's true, but BX said that Josh was basically fired from being a pastor because he was, how do you put it, kind of going in and leading the church astray, I guess, or the congregation or whatever it's, you know. And I do kind of feel that that could have happened. And I do kind of feel that what's going on with his channel right now and the cause is, again, he puts so much weight in his ideals that I don't see him being open to conversation and compromise in the future. And when you're not willing to do that, it's not going to end well. With all that said, I'm hoping I'm not missing anything. I feel like I am. It's just so much. Anyway, if I missed anything, I'll try to put it in a pinned comment. I've never done that before, but I'm gonna try. But I want to have a conversation about it. I want to hear what other people think. And are any of you as like lost and confused as I am? Because I don't know what to think. It's killing me. Because this is a big deal. What he does have a big platform. He has a huge influence, and if he goes about this the wrong way, things could end badly. And I don't want to see that. So let me know what you guys think. I guess we're just gonna have to see what happens. It's not really a way around that, is there? Anyway, I hope you guys are having a good day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.